Hello and welcome and thanks for stopping by. Um, I thought I would do a really quick video here on my activation art. You can take a look at all of that stuff at theartoffrequency.com. And I also do spirit animals, but right now I'm going to just talk about the activation art pieces and how they came about. So the first set of activation pieces that I did, I channeled through about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I ended up with 12 of them. They were incredible. I love them. And, I didn't think much about them at the time, but they were pretty, so I put them on a screensaver on my computer, and I used to take that to work with me, and I'd stick it behind the desk. And people would come to check in, and I would notice that one of the images had changed to a different image, and they'd go, "There's something in here. I can feel a shift in energy. Do you know what that is?" And of course, I would have to share the piece with them at that point, because then I knew something in that activation piece, something about that artwork was something that they needed at that particular point in time. I might add that if you go to the blog section of my website, I have the original activation pieces that I did available for download. I did name them, but I did not put a description of why I named them that. It was what my intuition told me they were about. So feel free to go. You can download those. And if you want to make a donation to the cause, you're welcome to do that as well. There's buttons on there for doing that. So again, that's artoffrequency.com. So I started playing with the activation pieces. They felt very important to me, and they were very powerful. And I am going to put some up here so that you can see them that I've done for people as I'm talking here. But I started playing with them. I started working with them more and giving them as gifts to friends when it would come up that that's what I was supposed to do. And they would have them printed. They'd put them on the wall. They'd put them on their iPhones, iPads, and computer screens. And all of a sudden, what happened is they started going through major life changes, transitions like crazy, and they moved forward very, very quickly. So I thought, aha, something's there. So I started offering that as a service. It's been very successful. People really, really love them. And I always warn people, I don't let you choose the color. I don't let you choose the shape. That is all done from the dream and through the intuition. And if I let you do all that, then it's no longer my artwork, it's your artwork, and it may not have the same effect. And I want it to have the best possible effect that it can. So, I don't pre-plan anything. Nothing is done until I have a dream. If the dream takes me 2 days or 3 weeks to do it, I do the art piece after I have the dream. And I always know who the art piece is for because I get that name in my head before the dream starts. So it makes it really, really easy. Sometimes I'm working on 2 or 3 at a time to get them right because I want them to look the way they should. I will say that a lot of these art pieces have between 10 and 100 layers in them. There are star nebulas, there's fractal patterns that I've created that are 3-dimensional and transparent. There's plants. I throw a lot of different things in them. So when I'm creating one after I've had the dream, I open up all my files, I throw everything together, and just start dumping what draws my attention onto the canvas. And then I start maneuvering it around till it has a shape that seems similar to what I dream. and then I do the kaleidoscope process. Now, I love the kaleidoscope process. As kids, I love playing with kaleidoscopes. They're just totally awesome how they create new realities out of different little things that are together there. So it's a really wonderful process. I've done them for some friends every single year. Every time I do a new one for them, they go through these wonderful and significant changes in their life, and they seem to have the capacity to flow through them a lot easier and accelerate them. Do I know ahead of time what those changes are going to be? No. Even when I read them, that is kind of a channeling session. I have an innate ability to take symbols and patterns that I see and change it into information. That's part of my intuitive ability. And so I use that to make this come together in a way that makes sense to people. Now, once I've been given permission to do one, first thing I do is take the name and I view the person's energy pattern remotely. I always say it's just a coincidence that a lot of times in these activation pieces, we see part of the aura of the person in them. I've always found that very fascinating. It doesn't matter why it happens, it just happens. I had one friend that said, I just figured it out. These activation pieces have portals in them to other planes of existence. How did you put those in there? I have no idea. I agree with them. They do have portals in them. I feel them, I sense them, and I see them when the piece is done. And here's another thing. And no one ever believes me, but I have a few friends now that are painting and doing that, and they're noticing the same thing in their artwork. Once it's done, I let it sit for at least 4 days. During that 4 days, it will change itself. It doesn't matter if I get up in the middle of the night while I'm still asleep and do the change, or how the change occurs. I don't care. I just know that they do change. To my thinking, that's Spirit's way of putting their little twist on things. And so I just let them do that because it's a wonderful, wonderful process. So I'm going to switch screens here and go in and show you how I do the reading of them. Again, thanks for stopping by. And I hope you enjoy watching this. Okay, so this is the process that I use in doing the art readings. I allow my intuition to kind of have free reign when I do them. So I have an innate ability to take symbols and things that I see in patterns and convert them into information. So the process I do to start out with is I always start with a small image that I'm reading, and I look at what draws my attention. And when I settle on something, then I start blowing it up and making it bigger and bigger until I can look at what patterns are in those areas. So as you can see, I'm really attracted to this area here. And the big thing that stands out to me is the star, but you also have this purple flower emerging through that. And to me, that's a symbol of transition. So then I'll back out again and I'll look, and I have all these circles going here, and it kind of reminds me of chains. So it's kind of like breaking free from those chains. And so I would talk about what I pick up on that. And then I have these wonderful snowflakes here. And those snowflakes are covering up patterns in this area. And so I would look at those and I would interpret those. Let's bring up another piece here. This is one of my activation pieces. And of course, we have this wonderful, wonderful star there in the center. And I am attracted to that. I'm going to blow that up a bit. And this is actually a photo of a willow tree that I did. But the part that draws my attention is right here with the little bit of colors in there. And the green pattern is kind of a healing pattern. And then there's a piece of the floor right there and there. And almost like these grasses coming up. So I would look at that and back out of it again, see if something else draws my attention. And then from there, I would go on. So let's pull up another one here. Let's cancel that. I don't want to close it. So this was one that I named Connection. And because everything about it was almost like an aspect of creation. Like if you look at here, there's all this electricity and the green and the blue, and it's exploding, and that energy is moving back into the center. So to me, it was like a piece of creation that was happening. The other thing that pulled my attention and does right now, let's get up there, are these waves above that set of creation and the heart shapes that are in there. So I would look at all of that stuff and go, this is what it means to me. Or I would, if I didn't know or didn't get a hit, I would ask my guidance to pull that together for me. And I always get information. The readings that I do with these are what I call mini readings. So they're, about 10 to 12 minutes. Sometimes they get into 15, but usually on average, they're 10 to 12 minutes. And I try to give people a lot of information in the process of doing it. And just like I said, let my intuition roam free, because that is the big thing on reading these. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any understanding of why certain things show up in them. Like right now, I'm going to look at this part right here and see how it kind of looks like these tentacles that are reaching down to the source. And so I would mention something about that. And in a lot of these, we have a lot of faces and that. So let me actually pull up another one here to look at, and if I can find it very quickly. And I'm not, so I'm not going to worry about it. But anyway, that's the process. I hope you enjoyed this kind of sneak peek into my life and my art. And you guys all have it. So that's the process I go through. I hope this makes more sense to you. Again, I appreciate you stopping by. For the group, I am going to be running a special, and I will post that on the group separately. I usually charge $125 for these. I am discounting them to $100. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day. And whatever you're doing, go out and enjoy yourself and have fun, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. Love you all. Bye.